Let me introduce you now to Beatriz Gonazalez. She is a coordinator with the Match International Women's Fund. Ms. Gonazalez, I wonder if you will begin by describing the lives that women face in this type of, in this area of the world.
Yes, good afternoon. I work with the Match International Women's Fund, which is an organization that supports women's organizations around the world. And what we hear from women's organizations in South Asia is that the levels of violence are still really high. I mean, this particular case that is in the media right now is very horrific and particularly brutal, but we know there is ongoing violence that goes unreported and that is equally concerning.
Is it possible for organizations such as yours to do something tangible against situations and terrible actions such as this one?
Absolutely. We think that the kinds of challenges that women face at the community level in India and other countries when it comes to violence are best addressed when women at the grassroots level themselves have the resources to think about their own solutions and what they want to do about that. So we give direct grants to women's organizations working specifically with authorities to raise their awareness about violence, to work with communities to change attitudes and beliefs about women and their position in society. The problem is that these organizations are quite underfunded and don't have big budgets. So, for example, this girl in a very remote village in India will hopefully get some support from a local women's organization that no one knows, that has been working to find her access to health, to find her some legal counsel in her case that will support with her mental health moving forward.
Do we know how she's doing?
But we have to support them.
Do we know how she's doing?
At the Match Fund, we don't know specifically. We only know the media reports, but we know there are many women's organizations in India concerned about the situation who will reach out, and with the appropriate support, will continue to mobilize to ask for change.
You touched on this. I want to point out this story getting a lot of international attention, but what about those stories that don't get as much attention as this? How do you believe this may spark some kind of momentum for change?
That's right. What we are seeing through these very horrific but also emblematic cases is that people come together, and women's organizations are even more determined to speak out, to occupy the public space, to protest, and we see that they're being listened to, because quite frankly, maybe a few years ago these cases wouldn't even have seen the spotlight, but thanks to women working together on the ground, they're now able to at least shed some light on what's really happening.
Why do you think the change?
Sorry, I didn't hear that?
You said from previous years there has been more attention and more spotlight placed on situations like this. Why do you think there has been this change? It's good, but why has it come?
It has come because women's organizations and social movements are really asking for change and sensitizing the media, sensitizing government officials, and demanding accountability. And at some point, the hard work that women's organizations are doing really does pay off. I mean, a lot of times a case like this would have gone in absolute impunity, and what we've heard from police reports, for example, is that people have been detained, but not only the actual perpetrators, but also the village leaders that actually ordered a horrific act to be perpetrated. And so there seems to be some level of accountability. I mean, I can say that this is representative across the board, but when social movements and women's organizations work together to bring attention and concern to these human rights violations against women, then the world is listening. I mean, here we're reporting it in Canada, and what we would like Canadians to know is that they can support and they can help through organizations like Match.
Beatriz Gonazalez, a coordinator with the Match International Women's Fund. Thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.